The moment we've all been waiting for, Spurs fans. The start of the regular season is here, and what a better way to kick it off than with a storied I-35 rivalry game. That's right, your San Antonio Spurs will take on the Dallas Mavericks tonight live on TNT. They got our boys on prime time. What's up, Spurs family? I'm Bryan Colbert Jr. here with Spurs Digest, and we are here to bring you your first pre-game show of the regular season. That's right, Spurs family. The regular season is back. Spurs Hoops is back, and I know you are excited. One thing we're excited about over at Spurs Digest is the 2,000 subscribers we are almost at. We have made a steady climb up there. Y'all have shown a lot of love, and we are just now getting started, Spurs family. So, as you know, if you've been watching our preseason pregame shows, we like to dive into three things we are looking for. Spurs family, I'm so excited to jump into this because, again, these are three things we are looking for to start the season. What an interesting preseason we have. What an interesting offseason we've had. There has been a lot of moves with the Spurs, and I really don't think there's another team with more eyes on them, honestly, outside of like maybe the Celtics and the Lakers. There's a reason this game is on TNT. There's a reason this game is on prime time, and it's all because everybody wants to see Wemby. Now, we're going to get to Wemby in a little bit. However, let's talk about the other things we are looking for, because it's not just a story about Wemby. We got some other guys in here that are ready to make some big names, and that is the start of this show. Chris Paul. I want to see the impact this man makes on this team. Chris Paul, as you've seen him from the past few seasons, right? Jump from team to team, but the impact he's made. Outside of the Golden State Warriors, think of the impact he's made on these teams. Oklahoma City is a whole other culture since he's played there, and I think a lot of people forget the impact he had on that team. I mean, look at them now. They're one of the top teams in the West, and I truly feel that Chris Paul, one, will end his career in San Antonio, but also leave a standing impact. No, he's not going to average a ton of points. Do I think he'll get a good amount of assists? Yeah, I think he'll actually have higher than 6.8 assists. I think he'll be somewhere between the 8 or 9 range in assists just because of the way this offense is ran. But it's not about the stats for him. It's not about the stats for him. That's not why he came here. He came here to show a very young, youthful, but full of potential team how to play the game of basketball. And he also came to play under one of the greatest coaches in the world, because if there's one person that is going to get the most out of Chris Paul, it is going to be Gregg Popovich. And I mean, there's so many things to look for when you talk about Chris Paul's debut with the Spurs in the regular season, right? And a lot of it has to do with the way these two guys are going to play, the way Wemby and Chris Paul are going to play together. I mean, I don't know what the over-under is on lobs right now, on alley-oops, but I'm assuming I'm going to see about 5, 6, 7, and rapidly, too, because Chris Paul, he's a smart basketball player. He knows what playing with a guy like Wemby's like. Get him the ball high. Get him the ball at the highest point to where his arms can reach and nobody else can, and you saw that kind of when they played in the preseason, right? Chris Paul was just launching it there. There weren't even lobs as much as, like, darts just up to the top of Wemby's hands, which is kind of wild to see, but, like, you got to understand, like, that is how they're going to compete with these teams. The ball movement, we've already seen the ball movement. We know Gregg Popovich loves ball movement, but, like, I feel like since we've had Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, like, you're really starting to see that implemented. And that's what happens when you have older role players, right? They are able to implement game plans the way that these young guys really can't, right? And just the impact Chris Paul is going to have on these young fellas. I mean, we haven't even talked about Castle yet. What he's going to be able to teach Castle. What he's going to already have taught in Blake Wesley. Like, I think Blake Wesley's a guy that a lot of people are sleeping on. I saw you guys in the comments a little bit showing some love, but then some of y'all are wondering, what is he really going to be? But I'm telling you, a guy like Chris Paul is going to get the best out of them. And then, we don't talk about it enough because I'm sure a lot of people think he might not, be around. But Tre Jones. Tre Jones started on this team for a while. Now he's going to be coming off of a bench role, which I think he's very more suited for. And his build and his style of play mimics Chris Paul. Like, he is a light version of Chris Paul. So imagine what Tre Jones has been able to learn. And again, Tre Jones is a guy that can play defense, that can pass, that can even score a little bit. So, like, these guards are going to be impacted by this veteran and this role player. And I think, to me, that's what all eyes are going to be on, right? It's going to be wild. Like, even looking at this photo, it's crazy to see Chris Paul in a Spurs jersey. Not something I think I ever thought I'd see, even while he's been jumping around from team to team. But this is going to be really, really exciting to watch, and it's going to have a huge impact on today's game. Now, the next thing I'm looking at, you see these three guys right here. These three guys, to me, are going to have an extremely tall task. We are going to see quickly what this Spurs defense is made of. Because when you're going against guys like the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, two of the best scorers this league has ever seen, and they're coming off of a championship loss, and it's a rivalry game. Yes, because this is real. I-35 rivalry thing is a real thing, especially now that the Spurs are actually competing. So this is going to be a test like no other, especially for these three gentlemen. Yes, we know Chris Paul ain't locking down nobody these days. However, it's still going to be a chess match between him and Kyrie Irving. Jeremy Sochan might get asked to guard Luka Doncic. I would not be surprised if he's the one guarding Luka. I can't really imagine them putting Harrison Barnes on Luka. And remember, Devin Vassell isn't playing. So that's one of your best perimeter defenders already gone. So who steps in and starts, right? Who is that number two? Is it Castle? Is it Branham? Do they move Keldon up? It hasn't been said yet. And, we're just speculating. This is a very, very super early pregame show, so we're just speculating. But it'll be very interesting to see how they are able to handle the firepower of the Dallas Mavericks. On the flip end, I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to struggle to guard this team. But remember, the Dallas Mavericks has size. Lively is a big guy. Gafford is a strong guy. This team is going to cause a ton of matchup nightmares for the entire NBA, and I cannot wait to see how the Spurs match up with it. Because regardless, when you're talking defense, you do know you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama, who he alone is going to make it worth your time in tickets and worth your time on the defensive end. Because even if you get beat, you have a guy like Victor Wembanyama that could come over and protect you. And again, you see Jeremy Sochan right here. This is his season. This is his season to show Gregg Popovich and his front office that he is the guy that you want to put next to Wemby. I've seen guys in our comments kill Jeremy Sochan and say he cannot play and that he is not good. But I do not believe that's true. To me, Jeremy Sochan is a key piece of a good team. You haven't really got to see how valuable he is because we haven't been a good team. But while we become a good team, Jeremy Sochan is what is going to be valuable. That type of defense, that type of effort, yeah, he's kind of a strange cat. But that type of defensive effort is going to go a long way with this roster. And I'm telling you, guys like Jeremy Sochan, they're going to need to step up this year because there's going to be all eyes on them. And they want to see who are the guys that they can build around Victor Wembanyama. And, of course, that is our final thing we are looking at. Victor is back. And he's not only back, he's coming back with a vengeance, man. He lost the gold medal in the Olympics. We saw how that affected this young kid. And Victor Wembanyama, if he didn't need any more motivation, that is what is going to do it. This unicorn, this cat averaged 21.4 and 10.6 rebounds his rookie year. Imagine what we are going to see from this guy this whole season. Sophomore year is going to be huge for Wembanyama because, again, he's only gotten better. And all eyes are on this, right? Like, that's why this game's on TNT, because you want to see the future of the league. You want to see your future star. You want to see the future of the NBA, and that's what Wemby is. Like, we're not going to mince words. Wemby is the future of this league. Wemby is a future multiple MVP, multiple Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think any of that is crazy to say, and we're going to see that from Wembanyama. And, man, can you just imagine what this year is going to hold? And this is the start of all of it. This is the start of all of it. And again, what a test. I love this picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of Victor because, I mean, just look at that length, man. I remember Kyrie's face when he got this shot up, like, what the heck am I supposed to do? And again, that is what we're going to see this season, is people trying to figure out the chess match that is stopping Wemby on both ends of the floor. Man, it is just crazy to think we're in year 2 of Wemby, and I don't even think we've scratched the surface yet of what this kid can do. And I honestly think now we're going to start seeing a little different parts of his bag. Like, you've seen him do a little windmill in preseason, like these little things. Like, I feel like now that rookie season's over, he's going to be a lot more comfortable. You shake all of those nerves off. You shake all that stuff off. You just play basketball. This isn't going to be a big game for him, right? Like he said it. He's played in the Olympics where these games matter so much. This is the start of the regular season. This is the start of 82. So just imagine how calm and poised Victor is going to be. And he's already been a guy that we have seen very, very much be wise beyond his years, Spurs family. And, man, there's so many other things we could look out for, right? The way they use Castle, the way that they use these players off the bench. Is Mamu going to get big minutes with the way he played in preseason? Is Malachi Branham going to be that sixth man? Is Keldon Johnson going to remain in a six-man role while Devin gets healthy? There are so many things to see with this Spurs team. But to me, Chris Paul, Wemby, And then that defense, because to me, like, we know what this team could do on offense, and we know what Wemby can do defensively, but we don't really know what the rest of this team can do. But when you bring guys like Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul, you draft a guy like Castle. These are defensive first guys at this point, right? These are defensive stoppers. So to me, that defense and seeing what they're going to be able to do against the Dallas Mavericks is going to be very, very interesting. Now, I don't like giving predictions, right? I don't like doing that, especially because, bro, the season just started. We have nothing to base these predictions off of. However, I do predict that we are going to see fun, inspiring basketball. And I think that's what Spurs fans desperately need now, right? They need hope. They need to know that their Spurs are headed in the right direction. This is a team that's won a ton of championships. As you see, Miami, this fan base is not used to losing. Now things are changing. This has been a weird time for the Spurs fans, but now it's not about tanking. It's not about trying to get a good pick no more. It's about playing winning basketball and making it back to that playoff glory. And I'm telling y'all right now, man, I think this Spurs team is going to be scary. I think a lot of people are going to mark these games on their calendars just because of the matchup nightmare that is Victor Wembanyama. Spurs family, we appreciate y'all pulling up. We can't believe the season is here. Man, I cannot wait to watch these games. I cannot wait to talk to y'all about these games and give y'all more pre-game shows for Spurs Digest. I am Bryan Colbert Jr. Again, make sure you subscribe if you haven't. We have on the road to 2,000 subscribers, and make sure you hit that little doorbell so you get notified every time we drop a new video. Because like I said, you know, sometimes I'm going to be dropping them early morning, but of course that is all for y'all because we love y'all so much. We just want to give you guys great content. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for showing love. Thanks for even arguing with each other, man. We love seeing that because that's what sports is all about. It's about bringing people from all over the world together. I've got people from Indiana. I got people from Australia, all different things, France, all talking in our comments, and that's what this is all about. And that's the beauty of being part of this Spurs family. It's a melting pot, people, and we are all a part of it. We thank y'all so much for watching and supporting, and let's get this W, Spurs family. I'm out.